Welcome to Grumpy Old Avatars with your hosts, Malvin Zerator, Deucer Dragonash, and Slim Warrior.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Grumpy Old Avatars. The three Grumpy Old Avatars here tonight are me, Mal Burns, and my two wonderful co-hosts. They are both here today, against all odds, in fact. So welcome back to Deucer Dragonash.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it is an extreme welcome to Slimmy, who has literally mid-travelled and just arrived in time. Hi, Slimmy.
Hello there.
And we have a very special guest tonight who will probably run the show on her own for us, and it is Lauren Wayland, who I'm sure you all know. Hi, Lauren.
Hello, Mal.
Oh. Now the sound of that voice, isn't it? Live.
Yes. It makes a few men grumpy.
Yeah. Right. That's a good start. Now you've got to get grumpy on us. Anyway, the big news here is, for those of you who don't know, I and Slim Warrior and Deucer are based in Europe. And in Europe, the weather has taken an appalling turn. Something is really malfunctioning in what we call the RL sim. And, well, we just don't expect this sort of wonderful, crispy, deep level snow at this time of year. You know, give it another month and we'll take it on holiday. Anyway, all European traffic has come to a standstill, and it's great fun. Hence the snowman who has joined me just behind me tonight. So if we start moaning about snow and such things and transport and such like halfway through this show, you'll know what's going on. Anyway, I am completely puzzled as to what the theme is apart from snow and weather, this week. But, I gather the general gist of it is that we are going to, talk about sort of communication and people understanding things and, all sorts of things, not understanding or not listening to answers, things like that, things that make us grumpy when we're communicating, especially with people online. And I'm actually going to turn to Deucer, who's hasn't been with us for 2 weeks, unfortunately, one way or another. So I'm going to welcome her back by putting her on the spot and letting her take over Slimmy's job now and introduce us to our subjects and maybe give us some ideas for the week. So over to you, Deucer.
Well, I think that's a very good subject to start off with because today's inaugural subject, our premier subject, is listening. And the reason I'm saying it's pretty apt is because I can hear somebody's mobile phone going off somewhere around interfering, getting feedback from somebody's mobile phone. So when everybody says mobile's off, that patently hasn't been listened to. And personally, I'm a girl who doesn't like to repeat herself more than 3 times. I don't know about anybody else in the audience. I can't repeat myself more than 3 times. It makes me want to actually physically be sick. And so what happens after 3 times? In fact, I can't do anything more than 3 times about the same, with the same thing, as it were. So, and you can take that wherever you like to. Yes, exactly. I could have 3 men. That's my favorite number. But, anyway, moving swiftly on. If I have to repeat myself 3 times, I do believe at that point that somebody's willfully not listening to me. And, then I just give up the will to live and move on. That's all I'm saying for now. And nobody's listening. Can you tell? You can tell that our host isn't listening because he didn't come in.
Could you repeat that, please?
The host didn't come in because he's been very polite and he muted himself to avoid echo while you were talking. No, I experienced at least one real life event during the week where somebody was being interviewed on a stage by a questioner who got a very good, cohesive answer to the question, and half an hour later asked another question which made it patently obvious he had not listened to the answer to the original question. And I thought that was most embarrassing indeed, to be honest. But I guess that's life. So, well, what about you, Slimmy?
I'm just so grumpy. Yeah, I am, but I'm so grumpy. I've got nothing to say, really. It's just, yeah, it's snowing. It's cold. I have to say my feet have never been so frozen ever from having to slush around in ice today.
Right. Well, we should move swiftly on from Slimmy until she just gets grumpy as opposed to completely catatonic.
It is most unusual for Slimmy to be so muted, so I reckon she's frozen solid like the rest of it.
We'll rub your feet, Slimmy.
Okay, as I said earlier, our special guest today, who knows she doesn't really need any introduction. She's one of the real sort of top comedians here in Second Life, and I can't believe that anybody would possibly not be listening to her, to be honest. But Lauren, have you ever come across such things as people not listening?
Yes, a couple of things. One, of course, is when they type BRB phone call. That's when I know they really are just bored listening to me. They don't have a phone call. They're not on the phone. They're just turning or muting me off to do something else. And the other one is when somebody types something to you and they're one key over and they type all this gibberish lettering. And then they don't even know why you don't get it. So yeah, I can get, that could be grumpy. Yes. Yeah, no question about that in communication. Also, whatever this thing is that's supposed to translate, and now we have the Google Translate. So it translates everybody's name into something that it's not their name, and that makes me grumpy.
I've been translating Japanese all night, actually, even though I switched it off hours ago, so I don't know whether I dare text anything.
So did you translate him 3 times or just once?
No, I only translate once, Gary. What can I say? 3 times and I'm bored. I mean, that's actually what it is.
Do you say that the first time you're out? By the third time, I'll be bored.
I like to take people by surprise.
And when did they start looking like men? Or women? Or whatever, Mimi? What? My voice? That's a screw up by Philip Linden and the whole problem with communication in Second Life. They said, here's your body, here's your voice. Go do the best you can with it. So I got pregnant. Anyhow.
Maybe Juno is saying that she's grumpy because men look like women.
Yes.
I don't mind men looking like women.
Do you mean that there are men in Second Life that they just haven't worked their avatar out properly? Or you talked about when they came in as Ruth. Do you remember that, when the men would come in as Ruth?
They still do. It happens in NBC every now and again. Robustus Hacks, who's our CEO, gets Ruthed every now. I don't know why him specifically.
So he comes in with breasts and everything else?
Yeah, he does. It's really exciting.
I do not like being roofed. I get it especially now on the open sims and, grid hopping and all that stuff. You leave one place and you arrive the other place looking totally different. It's a pop up when you're a Casper or a Ruth, to be honest, sometimes.
Anyway, back to listening. It really messes up communications when people aren't listening, or they get the wrong end of the stick, or they purposely are kind of projecting what you actually mean onto you, even though you might not mean that at all. I list that under not listening as well. But that might be just because nobody understands a word I say, of course.
I think the wrong end of the stick.
The wrong end of the stick. Do you need me to translate that, Lauren?
I can't understand the communication on that. If a stick has 2 ends, how is one end the wrong one?
I'm not quite sure, actually, because, English isn't my first language. So some of these things I just pick up along the way. And if I don't pick them up correctly, I've had it. And I know I will never, I don't know until somebody else tells me. And then I think they're wrong.
Then I'll tell you, the one end of the stick is the person holding it, and the other end of the stick is the person who's behind is being swatted.
Okay. It's the end of the stick you get poked with, you mean?
Depends on your preference. I'm sorry, I should shut up and wait for
isn't it wonderful?
Not remotely.
Yeah, actually, I get that kind of lot. You come up with these expressions that in your own language, or rather in your own culture, is more to the point, are quite commonplace. You suddenly realise you're not exactly sure what they mean, and none of the international audience have a clue what they mean. It's all rather funny.
Yeah, we've had to explain shag a few times.
Yes.
Carpet burn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This audience is very quiet. Do you know, have you seen the big hole that is Slimmy? Slimmy is having fan problems, apparently. Her fan is very noisy, so she says she's not going to say very much. So she's going to sit here and listen.
That'll be a relief.
She brought a fan,
won't it? Well, actually, it's a resounding silence, Slimmy.
Did she bring a fan, Second Life, into her home? And he's in the back.
We'll try this. How's that now? Are we without fan sound now?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that better?
Yeah, it sounds fine to me.
Anyway, noisy fan. You shouldn't complain, Slimmy. All about it.
I know, it's so cold I've had to put the fan on. Backward psychology, isn't it? Anyway, it's fixed now, a little bit.
Okay. So we're talking about listening.
What did you say?
Not listening.
What did you say?
God, doesn't it make you grumpy, though? Doesn't it make you grumpy? As soon as you said that, I felt my ire rise.
Sorry, I will behave myself.
No, please don't.
No, people never listen.
Well, how many multitasks are you doing, by the way, Dusa? I mean, you're in Second Life. You're talking to one person. You're on Skype with another person. You're instant messaging a third. You're on Google Buzz. You're on whatever it is. And you think people aren't paying attention?
Oh, but that's female paying attention. That means that you have absolutely all my attention and that I'm female. If I wasn't doing all that, you wouldn't think I was female. You'd think I was a man, as many people do think in here, because I'm 700 feet tall and very thin. So
people think I'm a man because my name's Slim. And for some reason in America, Slim is a bloke's name. So I always get like, hi mate in an IM from people that don't know me. And the other day, I went out in Second Life. I went to dance, and I was greeted at the door by saying, "Hello, Mr. Warrior." You know.
So now, are they women or are they men? It's a communication problem right there.
So why bother to put the prefix of Mr. or Madam or Mrs.? Why don't they just say hi, Slim, and then there's no problem, is there?
Slim is a cowboy name, from what I recall.
Well, maybe on Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. But
there's always some confusion.
Slim Jim. Yeah, Lisa, Slim Jim. You know, they're only made in one factory, and the factory burned down.
So what happens now? What is Slim Jim?
I don't think I'm going to tell you what that is, but anyhow, no, it's like a little sausage. Very
Please, somebody.
Sausage.
I am me. Oh, right. A spicy sausage.
Right. A Slim Jim.
I thought it was a drink.
Perhaps we should talk about misunderstandings across cultures.
No, it's called not listening, Dusa. Called not listening.
A wet willy.
Okay, well, that's the one that does get you in problems, doesn't it? Is Fanny.
Yes, but you see, Fanny Craddock was a great chef.
Yes, she was. But Fanny in America is not Fanny in the
not
UK,
a chef.
for example. No, it's definitely not a chef. And
don't say that. We had Fanny Farmer. She was a phenomenal chocolatier, making lots of cakes and things. Fanny Farmer.
So, no prizes for what happens if somebody approaches you with caution from America or the UK with the word Fanny. And if you understood what I just said, it's a miracle.
I just turn around and say, hello there, big boy.
But it is an unfortunate thing that some names that perhaps in their day were very in, And I'm sure in the 1940s, if you were called Fanny, nobody was thinking that, you were running around being called hello, your bits.
Hello,
there was, yes, well, there was never that association. And it's only sort of in recent years that obviously some people's names, have come to be associated with various parts of our anatomy.
Okay. What other names are associated with the part of the anatomy?
By names and people in Second Life, like what they call themselves, like Big Tex McDougal and stuff like that. There's all sorts of names here in Second Life. Are we allowed to